Aquarius. Welcome back to Starspoken Oracle. This is episode 9 of your weekly reading, and today we are reading for Aquarius, for the week of July 1st through July 7th, 2026. A sudden, slightly reckless new beginning arrives right on schedule with your ruling planet in the spotlight. Every week I shuffle the deck for all 12 signs and let the cards fall where they need to, but this week's sky is doing more of the talking than usual. Two fast-moving planets are about to shake things loose right in the middle of a slower, more introspective retrograde season, and that tension between speed and patience shows up in your card whether you notice it right away or not. Before we get to your card, let's talk about what the sky is actually doing this week, because it touches every single sign, and it shapes exactly how your card wants to be read. The cosmic weather. This week's sky is anything but quiet. Mercury is retrograde in Cancer, a shift that began June 29th and holds through July 23rd, which means communication, travel, and old business all move a little slower, a little more prone to mix-ups, and a lot more likely to circle back to unfinished conversations from the past. Do not panic about the delays. Retrograde season is not punishment, it is a review period, and if you use it that way instead of fighting it, this can be one of the more productive stretches of your year. Then, on July 4th, two things happen within hours of each other. Mars forms an exact, volatile conjunction with Uranus at 3 degrees of Gemini, a combustible pairing of raw drive and sudden disruption that has been building since late June and finally snaps into focus. Expect the unexpected this week, sudden changes of plan, flashes of insight, or a jolt of energy that moves faster than your ability to plan for it. On the same day, Venus glides into confident, warm-hearted Leo, softening the sharper edges of the week with a dose of romance, creativity, and self-assurance. So the week has two moods running at once, Mercury retrograde asking you to slow down, review, and finish what you started, while Mars, Uranus, and Venus in Leo push you toward sudden action and bold self-expression. The trick is not choosing one over the other, it is knowing which parts of your life need the pause, and which parts need the leap. Every reading this week, for every sign, is really a variation on that same question: where in your life is patience the answer, and where is boldness overdue? This is episode 9 of Starspoken Oracle, which means we are now solidly past the midpoint of the year and sliding into the back half of summer, a natural point for stock-taking even without a retrograde underlining it. Whatever you started back in January has had 6 months to prove itself. This week's mixed signals of pause and leap are, in a sense, the sky asking you to check in on exactly that. For you, Aquarius, Uranus, your ruling planet, is at the exact center of this week's biggest transit, which makes this one of your more electric weeks of the entire year. Your card. Now, Aquarius, let's turn the card. I shuffled the deck thinking about your week, about the energy the stars are handing you, and about what you need to hear rather than what might be comfortable to hear. The card that came up for you this week is the Fool. Take a breath with that one, Aquarius. Let's talk about what it actually means for you right now, and why the timing of this particular card, in this particular week, is not a coincidence. What it means. The Fool steps toward the cliff edge, eyes on the horizon rather than the ground, a small dog nipping at his heel as if to warn him. He leaps anyway, not out of ignorance, but out of trust that the unknown is where growth actually lives. With Uranus, your ruling planet, locked in an exact, volatile conjunction with Mars this week, this is one of the more electric personal weeks Aquarius will get all year. The Fool carries 0, the number of infinite potential, not because he has nothing, but because he has not yet decided what to become. With Uranus this loud in your chart this week, that openness is your greatest asset. Here's something worth watching for as the week unfolds, Aquarius. You might notice this as an idea that arrives while you are doing something completely unrelated in the shower, on a walk, half asleep. Write it down immediately. Uranus does not usually repeat itself if you let the idea slip quietly away. The areas of your life. Let's walk through where this lands, Aquarius. In love and relationships. In relationships, an unexpected connection or a genuinely bold move revives something that had gone quiet. Spontaneity is the medicine, not more analysis. Single Aquarius, someone unconventional may cross your path this week. Do not talk yourself out of it because it does not fit the plan. An unconventional connection, someone who does not fit your usual type or timeline, deserves a real chance this week rather than being dismissed for not fitting the plan you had in mind. In work and career. Professionally, a completely new direction or idea appears seemingly out of nowhere. Say yes to exploring it before you overthink it. Mercury retrograde is one reason to hold off on signing any contract just yet, but there is no reason to hold off on saying yes to the conversation. Say yes to the exploratory conversation, the unusual pitch, the invitation that seems to come from nowhere. Just hold off on signing anything final until Mercury goes direct. In money and resources. Financially, an unconventional income idea or unexpected opportunity is worth exploring this week. Even if it looks nothing like your usual path, just verify every detail once Mercury goes direct. An unconventional income idea deserves real research this week rather than dismissal. Just verify every detail before committing any actual money to it. And in health and energy. Try something new this week, Aquarius. Break a routine that has gone stagnant. Your nervous system responds better to novelty than to more of the same right now. Break a routine this week on purpose. A new route, a new class, a new hour. Your nervous system is asking for stimulation, not more repetition. And one more area worth naming this week, your own growth. Your growth edge is letting an idea stay unfinished a little longer without rushing to systemize it immediately. Not every insight needs a 5-year plan attached to it right away. Your guidance for the week. Before the practical advice, a word on timing, Aquarius, because this week's sky moves in a specific shape. July 4th is the loudest day of your entire week, possibly your whole season. Uranus, your ruling planet, meets Mars exactly on that date. Expect a genuinely surprising development on or very close to that day, and treat the days after as a chance to explore what opened rather than rushing to finalize it. So what do you actually do with all of this? Leap. The net will not appear until you jump, but this week, with Uranus this loud, the universe is holding it just below you. Aquarius, Uranus does not knock this loudly very often. when it does, the wise move is to answer it. If you take one thing from this reading into your week, Aquarius, let it be that. Not as a rule to follow perfectly, but as a direction to lean toward when you are not sure which way to turn. Come back to your card if the week gets confusing. The Fool is simpler advice than it looks at first glance. Closing. Before you go, Aquarius, here is a one-line journal prompt to sit with this week if you want to take this reading further than just listening. Where this week am I being asked to slow down, and where am I being asked to leap? Write down the first honest answer that comes to mind, not the answer that sounds best, just the one that is true. Aquarius, here is your affirmation for the week of July 1st to 7th. Say it with me, once, like you mean it. I leap toward the unknown and trust the net will appear. Carry that with you as you move through this week's The Fool. That is your reading for this week. If this landed for you, subscribe so you do not miss episode 10. It drops next Wednesday, with a brand new card for every sign. And if this week's reading was helpful, share it with the Aquarius in your life who needs to hear it too. The stars have spoken, Aquarius. Until next week.